来尝尝看吧，我的小食客们。
The first thing the Zarathi cubs learned about humans was that humans were fragile. Their claws could slice steel. Their teeth could crack starship hull plating. Their muscles could tear apart prey larger than a hover truck. And yet, these soft-skinned bipeds walked into the Zarathi nursery with nothing but cloth coverings and smiles. The elders expected fear. The cubs expected prey. Instead, the humans brought food. The predators of Karnine. The Zarathi were apex predators across 3 worlds. Their cubs were born with instincts that screamed hunt, stalk, dominate. Their education involved simulated combat, tracking exercises, and live prey hunts. Humans, meanwhile, had joined the Galactic Union only 5 cycles ago. They were classified as moderate threat omnivorous pack mammals, a polite way of saying annoyingly adaptable. So when the Union proposed a cultural exchange program, the Zarathi elders agreed mostly out of curiosity. What could these soft creatures possibly teach predators? Enter Dr. Elena Ramirez. The human weapon. Dr. Ramirez walked into the cub enclosure carrying a metal box. The cubs smelled something strange fatty, warm, and impossibly rich. One cub, a striped little hunter named RRRK, stalked forward, tail twitching. He pounced only to bounce harmlessly off the human's padded jacket. Elena laughed. Easy, tiger. I brought snacks. She opened the box. Inside was bread, cheese, butter. The cubs stared. This was not meat. This was not prey. This was, yellow. Elena placed a flat metal pan over a heating plate and dropped butter onto it. The scent exploded through the nursery. The cub's pupils dilated. What is that? Asked RRAK, voice vibrating with primal confusion. This, Elena said, placing bread and cheese onto the pan, is grilled cheese. The first bite. The Zarathi cubs had eaten raw meat their entire lives. Warm meat, yes. Cooked prey, occasionally. But nothing like this. When the cheese began to melt, it released a scent so powerful that 3 cubs forgot their training and rolled over each other, trying to reach the pan. Elena handed Rourke a triangular slice. He sniffed. He bit. The nursery fell silent. Rourke's eyes widened. His ears flattened in shock. His tail froze mid-swish. Then he let out a noise that sounded suspiciously like a purr. It melts, he whispered. Another cub, Kaf, snatched a piece and devoured it in one bite. She stared at her paws as if questioning reality itself. Why is it soft? Why is it crunchy? Why is it both? Elena smiled. The hidden human superpower. The Union anthropologists would later write papers about the event, but the cubs understood instantly. Humans had a superpower, not strength, not claws, not venom. They could turn basic matter into emotional experiences. Grilled cheese was not prey. It was not necessary. It was not logical for survival. But it made the cubs feel happy. Rourke returned for a second slice, then a third. Then he sat beside Elena instead of stalking her. You will teach us this power, he said solemnly. Elena blinked. Cooking? Yes, this. Cooking. Cultural shift. Predators to food critics. Within weeks, the Zarathi nursery transformed. The cubs stopped training early just to attend human snack hour. They learned about sandwiches, soup, pancakes, and something called chocolate. Rourke became obsessed with grilled cheese variations. What if we add meat? What if we add spices? What if we make it on both sides? He began rating each sandwich. Crunch factor, 9.3. Cheese stretch, disappointing. Overall emotional satisfaction, excellent. The elders were alarmed. The future warriors were arguing about bread thickness. The Predator Summit incident. The crisis came during the annual Predator Summit, where apex species gathered to display strength and dominance. The Zarathi cub delegation arrived wearing tiny chef hats. Other predators mocked them. Where are your hunting trophies? Asked a reptilian delegate. Rourke stepped forward confidently. We have discovered a superior weapon. He set up a portable cooking station. Within minutes, the hall filled with the scent of butter and melting cheese. The predators froze. Even the infamous Varaxian hive paused their telepathic screaming to sniff the air. Rourke handed out samples. Chaos erupted. The Galactic Cheese Pact. Within hours, predators across the Union were negotiating trade deals. The Zarathi demanded dairy shipments. The Varaxians demanded cooking lessons. The Drukhari threatened war unless they received cheese rights. Human diplomats were confused but pleased. The media dubbed it the Galactic Cheese Pact. Humanity's influence skyrocketed, not through war, not through technology, but through comfort food. Rourke's final revelation. One evening, RRK sat beside Elena watching a distant nebula glow through the station window. He held a grilled cheese sandwich delicately between his claws. "Humans," he said, "are strange. Tell me about it," Elena replied. "You are weak physically." "Rude," she said. "You are slow." "Hey, but you change us," RRK continued. "We were born to hunt, to dominate, to consume. But now—" He took a bite. "We wish to share," Elena smiled softly. "That's the real superpower," she said. Epilogue. A new galactic tradition. Decades later, historians would mark the grilled cheese exchange as the moment predators began forming peaceful alliances. The Zarathi became famous chefs. The Varaxians invented telepathic flavor transmission. The Drukhari opened the first interstellar sandwich chain, and humanity became known not as conquerors, not as warriors, but as the species that turned predators into foodies. Somewhere in the galaxy, Rourke, now Admiral RRRK of the Zarathi fleet, still refused to attend battle meetings without a grilled cheese sandwich. Because some weapons don't destroy worlds. Some weapons make everyone want to sit down and eat together. Rourke and his fellow Zarathi cubs had discovered something more powerful than claws or fangs. It was butter. It was cheese. It was bread. And they were determined to master it. The nursery smelled of grilled cheese, pancakes, and something dangerously sweet humans called chocolate. Rourke, Kuss, and 3 other cubs as LRRT, Viri, and Pact had formed a secret club, the Snack Squad. Their mission: eat all food, learn all recipes, cause maximum happiness. The cubs prowled the human kitchens with precision. They hid behind counters, climbed spice racks, and sniffed every new ingredient like it was prey. "Today," RRRK whispered, "we conquer the toaster." Elena had left a stack of bread unattended. Rourke's stripes twitched. "Step 1, he said, "acquire bread." Viri, with her 3 prehensile tails, grabbed a loaf. Slurt, the fastest, carried butter from the counter. Klasa was in charge of cheese logistics. Pact, smaller but clever, retrieved the toaster. They assembled the first Zarathi toasted sandwich. The cubs watched, mesmerized, as butter sizzled and cheese melted. When they took the first bite, the world changed. Crunch. And gooey, simultaneously, RRT squeaked. "Magic," whispered Viri. RRK licked his paws. "This is the strongest power we have ever encountered." News of the Snack Squad's activities spread quickly. One cub tried adding alien spices to human soup. Another accidentally set a small pan on fire. It was quickly extinguished by Elena, who only shook her head. The nursery erupted in laughter, purring, chirping, and the occasional hiss of frustration. "Your species is chaotic," Elena said, ducking under a falling frying pan. "And proud of it," RRK said, balancing a sandwich on his claws. The cubs had only sampled savory food so far. But Pact discovered chocolate. It was wrapped in shiny silver foil. Pact bit the corner. His eyes went wide. His ears flattened in pure delight. "Sweet and wrong?" he squeaked. "It's supposed to taste this way," Elena explained. Sug grabbed another piece. "We need more," she declared, and suddenly the nursery was a whirlwind of chocolate wrappers, buttered toast, and melted cheese. Even the grumpy council drone hovering above sighed. "I officially do not understand anything anymore." The Union decided to host a junior culinary, challenge humans versus predator cubs. Rourke was the Zarathi team leader. Sai was head of cheese distribution. Slurt handled spice negotiation. Vari mastered presentation. Pak just ate samples. Their human opponents brought pancakes, salads, and even a strange dish called fruit salad. RRRK looked at the humans' neatly plated meals and tilted his head. Where is the adventure? The Cubs' dish was bold, a multi-layered grilled cheese with alien spices, buttered toast triangles arranged like a miniature starship, and a side of caramelized space fruit. Judges both alien and human tasted cautiously. Then everything changed. They erupted. One Varaxian judge pounded the table in approval. This is conquest I can support. The Cubs became instant celebrities. Galactic news channels reported, Zarathi Cubs outcook humans. Universe declares snacks supreme. Merchandising followed. Miniature chef hats for predators, apron replicas, and even a comic series depicting the Cubs' adventures. Urk, meanwhile, was strategic. We must always innovate. New foods, new flavors, new happiness. The Snack Squad's mission is endless. Xa nodded seriously. We will not rest until every predator knows joy through butter and cheese. Not all Cubs were well behaved. Slurt accidentally dumped a vat of soup on the floor. Vari spilled sugar crystals everywhere. Pak was hiding under the counter, napping in a pile of chocolate wrappers. Elena sighed, picking up the Cubs one by one. You are all ridiculous, but I think the galaxy might be safer with you than without. RRK purred in agreement. Happiness is a weapon, Dr. Ramirez. You've given us the ultimate advantage. The Cubs soon realized something humans had mastered, the science of emotion in food. Sweet meant comfort. Salty meant energy. Umami meant satisfaction. Spicy meant adventure. RRRK experimented with combinations, creating dishes that elicited laughter, calm, and even mild telepathic bonding among predators. They discovered that food could change instincts. Even the most aggressive Zarathi cub could calm down after a shared dessert. One evening, the Snack Squad hosted a peaceful gathering. Predator cubs from other species joined them. They exchanged recipes, swapped stories, and most importantly ate together. For the first time, no claws were drawn, no tails lashed. No growls of dominance echoed in the nursery. Rook raised a piece of grilled cheese. To the humans, he said, for teaching us the greatest power in the galaxy. Kassa added, to friendship, Viri chirped. To adventure, Pak simply muttered. To chocolate. By the end of the cycle, the Snack Squad had inspired a new generation of predator cubs. The nursery was no longer just a place for hunting training. It was a school of culinary diplomacy. Rook looked at the bustling cubs, all experimenting with new dishes, and smiled. Humans gave us something more than food, he said. They gave us the ability to change the galaxy. One snack at a time. And somewhere, Dr. Elena Ramirez scribbled notes for the next recipe lesson, unaware that she was mentoring future galactic heroes armed not with weapons, but with grilled cheese, chocolate, and endless curiosity. The Snack Squad had conquered the nursery. But now, RRK, Xa, SLRT, Vari, and Pak had bigger ambitions. The galaxy was full of predators. Predators who hadn't tasted butter. Predators who didn't know the joy of melted cheese or chocolate. It was time for a galactic culinary expedition. The first target, planet Drakara. Drakara was home to one of the galaxy's most fearsome species, the Drakari. They had sharp claws, armored scales, and a natural distrust of humans. Uruk adjusted his miniature apron and whispered to the team, Operation Snack Diplomacy begins now. They arrived in a tiny hovercraft disguised as a delivery ship. Their cargo? Sandwiches, chocolate bars, soup, and a suspiciously wobbly stack of pancakes. The landing and initial chaos. The Drakari cubs were waiting, claws clicking. Who dares deliver snacks uninvited? One growled. Rourke stepped forward, holding a grilled cheese like a peace offering. We come in friendship and butter. The Drakari cubs sniffed cautiously. One took a tentative bite. Then another. Then the unthinkable happened. They purred. The Zarathi cubs exchanged astonished glances. We've converted them, whispered Xa. Snack diplomacy in action. For 3 cycles, the snack squad worked tirelessly. They taught Drakari cubs how to melt cheese without burning it, spread butter evenly, experiment with alien spices safely. The Drakari cubs learned quickly. Soon, they were competing with the Zarathi cubs, adding their own twists: spicy starfruit glaze, crisp nebula bread, and even floating zero-G pancakes. The galaxy watched in disbelief, predators collaborating on recipes. Trouble on Zi-45. Word of the snack squad's success spread. Not everyone approved. On Zi-45, a planet of telepathic insectoids, cubs were forbidden to eat anything remotely human. They were trained to hunt using psychic mind beams. But curiosity was stronger than fear. The snack squad arrived secretly, armed with chocolate, soup, and warm bread. The insectoid cubs were suspicious. "What is this smell?" one hissed. "Joy," RRK said simply. They demonstrated grilled cheese. The cubs telepathically transmitted emotions: curiosity, desire, confusion, and then delight. The insectoid cubs' eyes glowed. They were hooked. The snack squad's galactic influence. The more worlds the cubs visited, the more the galaxy changed. Predator fleets held shared meals instead of war drills. Union diplomats noted that territorial disputes decreased after dessert. Alien historians began writing. The era of the snack squad marks the first peace achieved through melted cheese and chocolate. Even humans were stunned. Elena Ramirez laughed at her notes. "I trained a few cubs," she said. "I didn't realize they'd trained the galaxy. Challenges and mischief." Being cubs, of course, came with trouble. Slurt tried replacing Drakari hot sauce with chocolate syrup. Disaster ensued, but laughter followed. Vuri painted toast with alien spices that caused minor hallucinations. Pact napped in a pile of pancakes so deep, the insectoid cubs had to dig them out. And Kasa invented cheese bombs, small orbs of melted cheese that exploded slightly when bitten, causing tiny bursts of flavor and joy. Rourke only shook his head and said, "Cub tactics are chaotic, but effective." The Galactic Snack Summit. After 6 months, the Snack Squad organized the first Galactic Snack Summit. Representatives from dozens of predator species attended. Tables groaned under the weight of sandwiches, pancakes, soups, and desserts. There were taste tests, cooking demonstrations, and the first ever intergalactic cheese competition. Rourke stood at the podium, slicing a grilled cheese in dramatic fashion. Friends, predators, future chefs. Today we prove that peace can be delicious. Cheering erupted. Even Threx, now a former coalition leader and honorary chef, applauded enthusiastically. The secret weapon of the cubs. The cubs realized their true power wasn't in speed, claws, or fangs. It wasn't in weapons or warships. It was in joy. Butter, cheese, chocolate, pancakes, these weren't just snacks. They were universal language. One shared bite could spark trust. One melted cheese pole could spark laughter. One chocolate square could spark friendship. Rourke and the Snack Squad understood. Happiness was stronger than fear, and flavor was stronger than fury. A new generation of galactic chefs. By the end of the cycle, the Snack Squad had trained dozens of cubs across multiple species. Every predator cub now knew shared meals were sacred. Cooking could bond enemies. Grilled cheese was the ultimate weapon. The galaxy was quietly transforming. Formerly hostile worlds began collaborating. Patrols became potlucks. Tactical drills included soup tasting. Even the Union Council commented, "It seems the galaxy is safer." Thanks to children and sandwiches. RRAK's reflection. Late at night, Rourke looked at the stars from his hovercraft. "Dr. Ramirez was right," he murmured to Xe. "Humans are strange, weak, soft. But their superpower is incredible." Xe smiled, licking cheese off her claws. "We're only cubs," she said. "But we've already changed the galaxy," RRK grinned. "Imagine what we'll do when we're adults." The cubs laughed. They shared the last grilled cheese slice of the day. And somewhere, across countless worlds, the scent of butter and cheese drifted through the vacuum of space, carrying with it a simple message. Friendship tastes better than fear. Rourke and his snack squad had already brought the deliciousness of butter, cheese, and chocolate to dozens of worlds, winning over hearts and bellies across the galaxy. But their galactic food tour wasn't always a walk in the park. Some planets, for reasons of their own, resisted. Certain species stubbornly refused to even try human food. And then there were the ones who were just plain hostile. Their next mission would be the ultimate test of their culinary diplomacy, pushing every skill the Zarathi cubs had learned to its absolute limit. The mission briefing began. Commander Elena Ramirez stood before them, a shimmering holographic map of a distant planet floating in the air. "Snack squad," she said, her voice serious, "Planet Vixer 9 has refused all of our food aid shipments. We're getting reports that the cubs there haven't smiled in 5 full cycles. Their elders are growing concerned, fearing a full-blown rebellion among the youth." Rourke's striped fur twitched with agitation. He couldn't imagine it. No smiles? That's completely unacceptable. Xa, ever the feisty one, bared her claws in a playful gesture. "Then it's up to us to fix that." Cell RRT, the resident pessimist, rolled his eyes. "Why do we always get the dangerous missions?" Pac, meanwhile, let out a massive yawn. "Because we get to eat first, I think." Viri, the optimist of the group, swished his tails excitedly. "And we will make them love it." Their arrival on Vixer 9 was unsettling. The planet was a landscape of dark, jagged rocks under a perpetually gloomy sky. The silence was the most unnerving part. There were no birds, no playful chatter, and definitely no laughter. Just a heavy, oppressive gloom hanging in the air. The snack squad landed their small hovercraft, cleverly disguised as a cheerful mobile bakery. The cubs cautiously peeked from the doors, their paws full. They carried trays piled high with golden brown grilled cheese sandwiches, steaming bowls of creamy soup, fluffy stacks of pancakes, and of course, a mountain of rich, dark chocolate. "Remember the plan," RRRK whispered to his team. "We come bearing snacks and friendship." Their first attempt at contact was a catastrophic failure. The native Vixorian cubs were intimidating, to say the least. They had 6 unblinking eyes, 3 rows of razor-sharp teeth, and muscular tails that looked strong enough to crush boulders. "What is this abomination?" One of the Vixorian cubs hissed, poking a grilled cheese with a skeptical tentacle. "It smells." "Wrong," another grumbled, wrinkling its snout. Slurt, mustering all his courage, stepped forward and bravely offered a slice. The reaction was immediate and disastrous. The cubs recoiled in horror. One sneezed violently, releasing a cloud of sticky green spores that splattered against the hovercraft. Another jabbed at the sandwich with a sharp claw, leaving a tiny, precise hole in the bread. Rourke let out a low groan. "Okay," he muttered. "This is going to be a lot harder than we thought." Back in the hover bakery, they received a call from Commander Ramirez. She had a new strategy for them. "You can't just force it on them," she advised. "You need to use cub diplomacy. First, make them curious. Then, make them feel safe. And only then, can you show them how delicious it is?" RRRK's ears perked up. He nodded decisively. "Right. Step 1. Spark their curiosity." The squad got to work. They set up a visually stunning display. They used cookie cutters to shape pancakes into the forms of strange Vixorian creatures. They made little chocolate stars that hovered magically above bowls of vibrant soup. And, in a stroke of genius that RRRK personally insisted on, they served buttered toast on 0G trays, letting the slices float gently through the air. The Vixorian cubs, who had been watching from a distance, stopped their brooding. They stared, their tentacles twitching with newfound interest. Slurt whispered to the others, I think they're actually considering it. Now for step 2, the taste test." Slowly, cautiously, one of the braver Vixorian cubs crept forward. It reached out a trembling tentacle and picked up a small, triangular piece of grilled cheese. Its multiple jaws clicked nervously as it brought the strange food closer. Rourke and the rest of the snack squad held their breath. The cub took a bite. Its 6 eyes widened in unison. Its tentacles froze midair. It blinked once, then it blinked again. And then, to the absolute shock of everyone present. It purred, a deep, rumbling, contented purr. "Yes," Xa whispered, a triumphant grin spreading across her face. "We've broken their resistance. That one brave cub was all it took." One by one, the other Victorians came forward to sample the strange human food. Soon, the gloomy silence was replaced by the happy sounds of soup being slurped, chocolate being crunched, and pancakes disappearing at an alarming rate. For the first time in 5 cycles, the nursery erupted in genuine laughter. The snack squad cheered, their mission finally on the right track. But just as they were basking in their success, disaster struck. A towering figure appeared at the entrance of the nursery. It was a Victorian elder, larger, meaner, and far scarier than any of the cubs. This is forbiddance!" It roared, its multiple tongues flicking out in pure rage. "No human food is permitted to touch the sacred soil of our planet." Rourke swallowed hard, the mood plummeting. He glanced at the dessert trays. Maybe we can try some dessert diplomacy?" Kaza rolled her eyes. "You mean you want to bribe a furious multi-ton alien with chocolate?" "Yes," RRRK said, his voice firm with conviction. "Chocolate works on everyone." And so the great dessert diplomacy battle began. The cubs assembled the most spectacular, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring dessert display the planet had ever seen. They had flowing chocolate fountains with fresh fruit floating in the stream. They stacked pancakes into towering, syrup-drenched skyscrapers. They served soup in delicious, edible bowls. They even created little grilled cheese bites with a special twist of local alien spices. The Victorian elder stomped over, sniffing the air suspiciously. Slurt, taking another deep breath, held out a single square of dark chocolate. "Just try it," he said, his voice surprisingly steady. The elder's many tongues quivered. It hesitated for a long, tense moment. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then it bit. The change was instantaneous. The elder's fierce eyes softened. Its lashing tails went still. A small, almost shy purr escaped its throat. Rourke's striped fur vibrated with pure triumph. "Victory," he declared. "Victory." Through dessert. With the elder's official purring approval, the snack squad's mission shifted. They held culinary workshops for the Victorian cubs. They taught them the sacred arts of melting cheese to the perfect stringy consistency. They showed them how to whip chocolate into a frenzy without causing utter chaos. They demonstrated how to build multi-layered pancake stacks that could withstand a minor earthquake. Most importantly, they taught them how to balance flavors to create pure, unadulterated happiness. The cubs of Vixer-9 were transformed. They went from grumpy, isolated little predators to enthusiastic, innovative chefs, eagerly sharing their newfound recipes with other species. Even the elder had to admit with a grudging respect, perhaps this human food is not entirely useless after all. Our RK just nodded wisely. It's more than just food. It's friendship on a plate. By the time the snack squad left Vixer-9, they were legends. The Zarathi cubs, once known only for their ferocious appetites, were now galactic culinary heroes. Predator cubs from systems all across the quadrant were putting in official requests for chocolate-making lessons. The Galactic Union was even forced to add a brand new diplomatic classification, snack diplomats. Back at headquarters, Commander Ramirez was laughing. "You cubs are more effective than our strongest battle fleets." Our RK purred with pride. "Strength is fine, but happiness conquers faster." Flying back to the Union base in their bakery-disguised hovercraft, RRRK looked out the viewport at the swirling stars. "We did more than just feed them," he said quietly, a sense of wonder in his voice. "We actually changed their hearts." Xa nodded in agreement, sharpening a claw on the seat. "And that's a lot more powerful than any weapon." Fel RRT grinned, a rare sight. Chocolate diplomacy. Who knew it was a real thing? Vuri chirped happily. "Next stop, every planet that hates humans. And maybe some more chocolate for the trip." Pak, who had somehow managed to hold on to a pancake through the entire ordeal, let out a contented yawn. "I approve of this mission." RRK smiled, looking at his team. cub diplomacy, and snacks. That's how we're going to change the galaxy. And somewhere, far across the endless sea of stars, the warm, inviting aroma of butter, cheese, and chocolate began to drift through the cold vacuum of space, carrying a simple, undeniable, and irresistible message. Happiness is universal, and snacks are the true language of peace. Thank you for watching this chapter of humanity's hidden superpower. If you enjoy the adventures of the Snack Squad, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from across the galaxy. We'll see you on the next mission.